my name is Eileen Mostricht, and today I wanted to talk about this concept of Medicaid taking assets. So rarely does a week go by that I don't hear from somebody that is talking about their fear of Medicaid taking their house or taking their bank account, taking their assets. And in their mind, they're thinking of like Medicaid sending people over literally to like confiscate the house or confiscate the assets. So to be clear, in Florida, the issue, so what happens is that if you want to apply for the long-term care program and your income is over the income threshold or your assets are over the asset threshold, Medicaid gives us a lot of tools with which we can restructure your finances, preserve the assets, and get you qualified and eligible for the Medicaid program. If you don't do that planning, then you just aren't eligible. Medicaid isn't going to come and take your stuff. You're just not eligible. So either you just spend your money and sell your assets and spend down to zero, which is not advised because you need money for anything in this life, right? Even to die, it costs money. Or you do planning and you preserve the assets in an allowable way so that you don't outlive your money. That's the whole point. But either way, there is no somebody coming over and confiscating your assets. Now, another area that this might come up in is if you're already approved for Medicaid and you're like in a nursing home or you're in an assisted living facility or you're at home with aides and you maybe get an inheritance or you decide to sell the house because the house is excluded as homestead, but if you sell it, it is now converted to cash and the cash is counted. So this is where this comes up sometimes again, that Medicaid is going to take my assets or take this cash, take this inheritance. No. What happens is, yes, when you receive that inheritance or when you convert that house to cash, now you're technically ineligible because now you are over the threshold for countable assets, but we can just do planning and we can move those assets in an allowable way using the tools that Medicaid gives us to preserve them and keep you on the program. If you don't do that planning, yes, you will be kicked off of Medicaid, but Medicaid isn't going to come confiscate those assets. The result is just that you will not be eligible until you properly move those assets. And if you never properly move them, then you're just not going to be eligible again. Okay? And then the other way that this comes up is when a person passes away. So Medicaid in Florida can file a claim in a probate action to seek to recover some of the money that they have spent. By the time you are on Medicaid though, normally you don't have really assets in your name anymore except maybe the house. And if the house goes through probate, if it was your homestead before you passed, then it's protected and Medicaid cannot recover from that. If maybe you converted the house to rental property, maybe you went into a nursing home and your kids just decided to rent the house out, and then that house now goes through probate, it doesn't have the protection, the homestead protection anymore, and Medicaid can recover from that by filing a claim. But nobody is coming out and confiscating the house. There's no taking. Medicaid doesn't take anything. There's a very orderly process for all of this. And the issue really is either if you're over asset or over income, either you do the allowable things that Medicaid very generously gives us the ability to do in Florida, and then you qualify. Or if you don't want to do any of that, and then you just want to spend your money down to zero, you can do that. But you're just not going to be eligible until you do, or until you get into those thresholds. So that is the way that works. There's no taking or physically confiscating of assets. It's just really a question of eligibility or non-eligibility.